Hey, hi, happy Tuesday. Ha ha. Welcome to the ORIN Oracles Live. Yes, indeed. And coming to you live today from Orin Town as usual. And we got a special guest, and she's all cute. She's already going to be coming in. I'm glad. Ha ha. Our friend Theresa Allen is going to be joining us today in the conversation. We're going to learn a lot about healing today. And we're going to learn, oh, look at you, beautiful. Good gracious. You're just looking so lovely.
All the pee, it's just all about the pee.
It's all about the pee. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm running on only a couple cylinders today. Me and Lisa and I were up late, and we're just learning more, spending time. And so it's been really fast and furious. And it's wonderful. It's just delightful. And so I'm so happy to be here with you today, my friend. This is a joy. You're so adorable. So yeah, life's good over on my end. Like I said, I'm just running on a little bit of less, but this show always pumps me up. I'm all excited, to be here. So but see, I'm keeping my head together. Keeping my helmet on. Just to contain this nutness. So yeah, it's a beautiful morning to be alive, and really happy to be here. So I'm just going to mention a couple of things. That next week we got Harry Matadine coming in, and then the week after that Danielle Audrey Graham. So we got a couple of great people coming up here in the future. Hello, Heidi, Dawn, Keith. Man, we got some great guests in the house, and so, anyway, things are happening. I want to just start right in with you, Teresa, because we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. And so, what I really want to start with is why don't you start by giving us, your story, kind of what was happening to you on a health level. And then I know it went kind of first in the fast and then the UT came later, but why don't you tell us what happened and what was diagnostically what was happening to your body?
Basically, my body was just overloaded in toxins. I was a hairstylist for over 20 years, so being in chemicals all the time was causing a lot of stress to my body. I had no idea the capacity of stress that it was causing until time just gradually went on. So, even in 2010, I was 40 at that time, and I broke out in the worst case of acne that I ever experienced in life. So I just said, okay, I need to make some dietary changes. I began to eliminate sugars, dairies, breads. I was really heavily into vitamins and herbs at that time. There was a little lady locally. I would see her all the time like clockwork just to take these herbs. And the issue was I would feel okay for a while, but it never really got to why I was having any of my problems. So as the years went on and I just became just, I would say annoyingly very toxic, it was just, I was having all these issues. I didn't know that I needed to clean this house that I dwell in. So in 2014, I went to Haiti. I had vaccines to go to Haiti. And that was, by the way, the most beautiful experience of my life. Went to do some missionary work with a group of kids, and you think that you're going to go and change their lives, but they literally change your life. But as I speed this up, I noticed some things about the kiddos that were happening, like the boils on their scalp and these little issues with their skin. And I always said, I really want to figure out how to help them one day. So, and everything happens in my life in April. I have no idea why, but it just does. Maybe New Year. But in April 2014, I got so sick and I was losing my hair. I was mentally depressed. I had just left my husband for the first time that time, and I was just like extremely overwhelmed. And I knew that I didn't want to go the allopathic way. I knew that the herbs weren't working for me. And I met this amazing woman named Deanna, and she kind of put me on one of those bio readers. You put your hand on, and it's hooked up to the computer.
Right.
And
I know that system. Yeah.
so, like, we're nothing but beautiful energy, right? So it really goes in and just lets you know where you're lacking all of this beautiful power that we should have that should be activated. So when she tested me, like my all my organs were stressed. I mean, like all of them. And I had parasites, I had staph infection, and she put me on this routine of cleaning my colon. And that's when I first learned about the colon. Like, life and death is in the colon, and if it's not functioning properly, it affects how the entire home system that we dwell in functions. So I did that for a while, about a month, but I knew that I needed to go deeper with my cleansing. And that's when I got on YouTube and I just started looking up stuff. I was like, there just has to be a way. And that's when I learned about fasting. There's this beautiful man, Tyler Tolman. He is like God sent, heavenly, everything, like the universe. It was just perfect timing for me. So when I read about how fasting could be healing, how we can get stem cells, how we can regenerate ourselves, that we have the capacity within us to change everything, I was all in. And I did a 6-day water fast, and I was hooked. It changed my life. Every about the way I thought, the way I felt was just transforming so rapidly for me. And my family had thought I lost my damn mind. They were like, you're going to kill yourself. And my mom, because I was starting to like get really emaciated, she was like, girl, it looks like your eyeballs will pop out your head. I was getting ready to take you to the doctor. I was like, Mom, you just have to trust me and just trust this journey. And early on, I met a lot of resistance from my family, not my kids. Let me tell you, my kids are like everything. They are my life, my heartbeat. But especially my husband and many other people. But as I continued to live in my truth and trust myself, I became more empowered.
Now
And
on this first fast, was it distilled water or just water? Were you on to distilled water at that point?
anything about distilled water, I was really under the illusion that you needed this alkaline water. No, I
Right.
hadn't at that point.
Now,
But
and another question, your family thought, you were withering and whatnot. Did you have a lot of weight loss? I mean, were you big by proportion? Because you seem so petite, as a body type.
no, I wasn't big at all. I was a little thicker than I am now, and I was holding on to a lot of toxins. So as I began to eliminate all of that crazy toxic load,
Right.
I'm so emaciated. So, and I have learned that, especially doing fasts like all the time, the more toxic you are and the more that you have to release, the more you may look emaciated early on. That your constitution becomes in your body and everything, you don't tend to lose the weight that away, and you just have this perfect balance.
Well,
But
and that was my recognition, my experience is that during the fasting, the toxic, the detox process, the release process was just, I didn't see that. I didn't see that shit coming. I just didn't. And it was amazing how same thing. All my muscles were starting to atrophy. I mean, I just looked like I was wearing this like skin baggy suit or something, It was crazy. But I knew that, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, "Well, what are you doing, dude?" But I really knew that I was in that detox. That part I understood. I had enough recognition of the process of what I was aiming at and what I was doing. Now, you don't know what the actual cause and effect is going to really ultimately show up as once you start fasting. It's your body, your process, right? I mean, you've done this a lot. You've done a lot of fasts, right?
Since 2014, I fast very regularly. I believe that it is necessary, especially the environment that we live in. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with toxins. And I just believe that it is a divine way to stay healthy, to stay rejuvenated, to stay youthful, to stay in tune with who you are in the entire universe, and on and on. And all of this fasting led me to urine therapy. That has forever, ever, ever, ever changed who I am, the dynamic of who I am. It has given me like this fortitude, to have this power in this inner knowing that everything that I ever needed in my life was already in me, that I never have to ever, ever look outside of me to be perfect, whole, or complete.
It
So
really it does become a spiritual journey once you get into the depth of it. The self-love, the self-awakening, the self-awareness, the process is really a spiritual and depth research of self on self. That was my experience. I mean, the urine therapy is just a marvel and a magical journey. That's the way I see it.
yes, yes. And what else was amazing, like when I was sick early on, when I had lived with my mom in 2014, I just remember just being so mentally depressed. I just didn't want to be here anymore. It was just, I was like, how is this life? It was everything in my life had crumbled apart. Everything had fallen to the bottom. Like I was at the lowest place in my life. And not only because the dynamic of me leaving my husband for that first time, but I had never been so sick. I had never felt so mentally disconnected and ill, where I had felt like I lost all self control. And I was up one night just crying and crying out, like, am I getting punked? Where is action at with these cameras? Because this cannot be my life. And what God will allow this to happen to someone who is serving this thing. But
Yeah.
what happened to me was I heard this voice within me say, first of all, no one is doing anything to you, but it's you is what you're causing on yourself. You are doing this to yourself. But the most thing that you need to learn how to do, Teresa, is learn how to listen to you. And that also was the beginning of my transformation. And I started to see this image of who I would become. I remember looking in a mirror and I would see this woman looking at me that was beautiful and powerful and strong. And no, I wasn't looking like that. I was looking like a wreck. But what that gave me was the hope to know that I had something to strive for, that I had the power within myself to turn things around. It was like I saw my soul, my most highest self. That what I believe we are striving to reach when people talk about the Christ consciousness, it is that highest elevation of ourselves. It's nothing
Yes.
with religion, and I do not step on toes, but I live my truth, and this is what I have learned. And
Exactly.
then absolutely.
Well, it's interesting that you and I were in a parallel universe in 2014 because yeah, I mean totally because it was exactly like right at this time I was still like 3.5 weeks out from my neck surgery. So, I was still dealing with this Vulcan pinch in my neck and just laying around licking wounds, drinking heavy, smoking pot, eating shitty, and laying around in bed watching movies because it was just immobilizing and it just seemed all kind of pointless to me. So, that major mass neck surgery just turned my life around to start with. That relieved so much stress in my life. It was crazy, you know. But the surgery I've had since then, the hand surgery, had I knew what I know now about urine therapy, I would have elected not to have that surgery. But I am grateful I had the neck surgery because I had so much out of alignment. I mean, I don't know how long it would have taken me to straighten that mess out. But, I mean, it was really out of four cervical vertebrae, 3 through 7, they were as much as like a 16 1/4 and even more off from alignment from each other. I mean, it was whack. So having a plate put in my neck, and screw all those and pull them all back into alignment, I'm glad I did that surgery. Honestly, I was glad that was an availability for me at the time. I'm grateful. But anymore, like I don't, I don't see myself going to a doctor for much of anything. I just don't ever see myself going to a doctor, taking meds, following any allopathic recommendation of any kind. I just don't see it happening in my life anymore. Don't see it.
Right? That whole, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is so unnecessary. It's just they do more harm to us than anything. Oh no, my goodness. Okay, you want me to tell you about my daughter with the gallbladder story?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Well, um, speaking of doctors, one day I got an emergency call from my daughter's boyfriend, and he can't breathe. I'm taking her to the hospital, and she has had issues with asthma since a little girl. And I was so grateful that I was able to go into the room because after they did all the testing, the ultrasound, the doctor comes back in and goes, "Well, we're going to have to do emergency gallbladder surgery." And so I'm just looking at this old man, this really fat man, and I'm not being ugly, but it was true because I really knew where he was going. And I told him, I was like, first of all, you can get rid of gallstones, and she does not need surgery. And he was very annoyed with what I had to say. And I just basically told him, I was like, you can't even maintain your body. How are you going to tell my daughter what to do with hers?
Right.
And furious. So he comes back because my daughter's 21, and he goes, "You don't have to listen to her." And she goes, "No, that's my mother, and I'm going to listen to my mom." So what we did for my daughter when we left the hospital, I was like, "Okay, oh, I don't want to kill my child, but I know we can do this." We changed everything about what she was eating, and it took and she just had a baby, so she was breastfeeding too, so she was really, really concerned. She wanted to keep her milk production up, so we were making meals that were like no fat, just mostly, it was vegan, just all vegan, but she wasn't that raw route. And we did that for a month. Her gallbladder would still bother her from time to time, and then we went in hard. She did a 7-day juice fast, and then after that we did a liver flush, and it really gave her relief. She was still having a little discomfort, and that second one knocked it out. And she has not had an issue since. And not only did she get rid of the issue with her gallbladder, but she began to radiate like we all should from the inside out just by making necessary dietary changes and trusting herself. She trusted the whole process. And
Yeah.
even some get weird. Her boyfriend was so cute because she was like, I just don't know because it's pain. I just can't take it. And he was like, Nikki, you just have to trust your mom. She knows, she knows. And it's just been this whole path that I have been on from being sick and learning how to listen to myself. And if I had not done that, my daughter may not have a gallbladder today.
Right.
Just things because we live in our truth. We become this beacon of light for everybody around us. And we have no idea of the impact and how powerful we are and that impact that we're going to make on others. So that's what I love about this whole experience.
Yeah, and I'm humbled daily. The things that people send me in comments and personal messaging and shout outs and reach outs and questions, and I mean it's really humbling to me. And I'm so happy to be of service. I am, to help guide anybody to their wellness. And I'm always these are the things that I reaffirm always, is that you can lead people to knowledge, you can't make them think. You can, encourage them to listen to their own body and trust their own instincts and think in clarity, have clarification in your process, your thought process. Realize that whatever you think about, you're going to bring about. So think of yourself, like you said, you weren't looking that way, but you were thinking that way, that you were looking yourself in the mirror and seeing this glorious soul, this beautiful experience as a soul body and a human, even though it wasn't there in that moment. It was there, absolutely. You just had the patience to transform it and allow it. That's heavy. I mean, that shit's real power right there. That's the juice right there.
We all have it. We just
Yeah.
have to go in.
I mean, the big trick is to trust, allow, and not sabotage, and that's the real trick right there. Don't sabotage yourself. And that's what people have a tendency to do. They set themselves up for a failure rather than a sweep of greatness.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And it's all possible. I mean, and that's the beauty of it, the fasting. That's why I think your story is so remarkable because you started off from being in a environment that was deathly, and you were, those pictures that you share, you were deaf. I mean, you were killing yourself. You were being poisoned by a petrochemical industry that you had as a part of your service. And that's just crazy. And people don't even realize how much they're impacted, in these industries and hairdressing. Who thinks about that? Oh, I'm going to be, like, who thinks about that? You know,
Got
but
it.
that shit is poison, big
Very much.
time. Yeah, very toxic. So, so yeah, so now, no more, juju from, ex homeboy. You got nothing but love and support from Nicole and Corey and your other children.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about your business now because you're enterprising with your son Corey in a new enterprise. Let's tell everybody what you're up to now.
It is absolutely amazing. So, with me learning how to treat my body like it's the most precious gift in life, I would refuse to really eat anywhere and have anybody's juices or smoothies because they were just crap. I'm like, who wants high fructose corn syrup and powders and all this other stuff? And like, where is your fruit? And why are you putting ice in there? I mean, what is wrong with y'all? So I was like, I'm gonna go and figure this out for myself. So I made smoothies at home, and one day my oldest son came and tried it. He was like, I really feel guilty for not paying you for this, and we need to start a business. And we did. So all summer last year, we went to all of these events in our community, and we were received very well. People were just like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And the biggest thing that we always get as far as a response is, I can really taste the fruit. Like, there's fruit in here. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So one day my son down and my son is like amazing. Like he is this guy who he's a good salesperson. He is very confident in who he is. He is like the best part of me. And who came from me. And he has encouraged me so much. But he came up with a name for our store. And it's called Take a Stand. And people are always like, well, what does that mean? We're like, well, we take a stand for quality. We take a stand for putting the best product out there for the community. And we also flip it around and we'll say, well, what do you take a stand for? What is important for you in your life? So this has become just the most beautiful project that I get to share with my oldest son and my children. And we create fresh juices and smoothies and other gourmet vegan dishes. So we're extremely excited about that. Our store is under construction right now with getting countertops done and the floors, and eventually we will have our grand opening. But what I love about everything has a special place, a special moment in time, and we've learned not to be like overly rushed and excited, and also enjoying the now of this experience and just thrive. We have made so many beautiful connections. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, or a week ago. I'm all confused now because these days
Yeah,
are just
I was going to ask you. This was about that you were at a place doing a presentation and
yeah,
introducing Take a Stand to the community event, right?
it
Yeah, I
was.
think that was last weekend. I mean, time flies when you're having fun. It's hard to keep track of stuff, right?
It must be. But yeah, it was Friday because I had just come off my fast and I was like really, really tired. So I had to stop my fast on day
Right.
20. I knew I wouldn't have enough energy by Friday. So it was beautiful. Even like Natural Grocers provided us with all of our produce to have to do the sample smoothies, and people were just blown away. And we were so honored to have had the opportunity to be there again, presenting our product to the community with Natural Grocers. It was beautiful.
Right now, you did post up. I noticed some pictures of some food presentation that you guys have in mind, and that stuff was beautiful. I mean, the presentation on that stuff was just stellar. So tell us about it's beyond smoothies, right?
Yeah. So, I'm learning a lot. I mean, a lot, even with this most recent fast and listening to amazing people like Monica and especially with the whole salt thing. But uh, we have beautiful vegan wraps. One of the pictures was a stuffed portobello mushroom with marinated vegetables and a nut pate. So, and the reason why I brought the salt little issue up for some, not for me, but what I experienced during my fast when I did not supplement with any salt, my body detoxed better than it ever has in any of my fasts. I had maybe a little bit of leg cramping. I did have leg cramping early on for the first 3 days, but I trusted my body and it totally went away. So when I ended my fast, I was like, okay, well, I'm really having to make changes with what I eat. And this may also affect our menu, and this is why I'm bringing this up. But I ate more vegetables that had more sodium chloride in it, like celery and Swiss chard. I toyed around with a little sea vegetable. But what I learned in 7 days of doing that and having avocados was that it was just too much for my body. My body didn't receive it well. Um, so we may make some modifications with our menu, being mindful that our my goal is really to bring awareness to health where people can have the best life possible and the best experience. So that's kind of why I brought that up.
Now, what kind of hours are you intending to run? I mean, how vast is this enterprise going to be, and what kind of market do you have as far as I know Joplin is where you're located, and it was an F5 if I remember right that went through there and just literally leveled the whole town. But your place was your home was unscathed, right? But the town was like disappeared. Tell us about all that. That must have been
That
harrowing.
Yeah, it was really intense. And in fact, it was on a Sunday. It was May 11th and no, 22nd, but 2011. I was doing a couple of clients' hair, and one of my clients' daughter called and said, "Well, Mom, the sirens are going off." Well, they always go off, so we didn't take it so seriously. So we were kind of, finishing up. I wanted to go to Walmart to get grapes, but something said, "No, go home, get your kids in the basement. This is what you need to do." So everyone was there except for my husband and my older both at work. So we had no idea the capacity because where we lived, it was not that dramatic. But when we started getting calls coming in, my niece called and said that their house was hit, but only like the awning was destroyed. Um, and so we got in the car to make our way to get to my husband and my son to make sure that they were okay. And we couldn't get through. And the path that we went, I believe, was the right one that we took because I know if we would have seen all of the devastation, all of the destruction, I don't know if we would have really been okay that day. But my son, his job was hit. And normally the place that they would seek shelter for the tornado, they changed their mind and went to another part of the building. Because if they would have been in that part, no one may have survived that. It was that
Wow.
much. My son's car and maybe another car were the only cars that were kind of unscathed. Every other car was like twisted and turned. And where my husband worked, they had two people who died, and he was a part of a team that helped to recover their bodies. So it was all of this horrible, tragic stuff. I have a customer, many clients who would tell me there's like just in a bathroom, and that was the only thing that was left, the tub and those walls that they sought shelter in. And I had another client who was literally like pulled out with the tornado and wound up in the parking lot of her apartment. And when she went to the hospital to be treated, there was no pain medicine, no nothing. It was, we're going to have to sew you up. You're just going to have to bear with it. It was chaotic. It was the most horrific experience that this community has ever endured. And it has, it destroyed the high school completely. So the kids, they made a makeshift high school in the mall for them. And that was my oldest son's senior year. So that was a lot of fun for them, skipping.
So this is 7 years ago. What was the population, and has it maintained a population similar to what it was prior to that event? Or
I
did a
would
lot
say
of people leave?
some people did leave. I don't know if we were like at 60,000 or 50,000. I always forget like where we are in
But
population.
it's a significant sized town, city.
Like our Walmart, our Home Depot, our every major restaurant on a street range line was totally wiped out. Like
It's
there was
gone.
like on. There were
Wow.
neighborhoods like wiped out. It didn't skip one house and do that. It wiped the whole neighborhood out.
Wow.
So have structures and new communities that have grown since then, and just a lot of, I think, more networking and people coming together in the community since all of that has happened.
So is your new business, is that in like the general, like in a downtown, or are you in a more suburban, or what kind of layout are you in?
More downtown area, not quite in the heart of our main street downtown, but not too far from it.
Uh-huh.
So
So you
urban
got a
type.
good traffic area?
Oh yeah, and I live over our store now because
Yeah,
our
yeah, your apartment's right. I love that. I love that.
so when
Yeah.
I say traffic, it's like, oh yeah, there's a truck. I could feel the whole building shake some days, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you lease that building then, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool though, that you can run a home and a business in the same unit. That's very efficient.
Yes, it is so nice. I just run downstairs.
Yeah, you're a smart cookie, Teresa. I think you are just the shit girlfriend. I really do. You're amazing.
Remember what you taught me? Ship high in transit.
Yeah,
Yeah, stay up.
yeah. You got to rise above the shit, and got to animize that shit. Don't want that hanging around, let it flow, let it go. It's the way it works, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical, it's all shit and it needs to move around. You got to get rid of it. Otherwise, nothing happens except it gets blocked up, constipated, and that's why so many people walk around full of shit. They are. So,
Uh,
so I want to talk about our enterprise too, because I'm real excited about our partnership. And you know, one of the things I learned about Teresa, she's an amazing illustrator, truly an amazing artist. Look at this work she does. Her stuff is brilliant.
no,
And I've had written all these stories about a character, and she's going to help me craft the whole thing, right? We're going to work on this thing and make it happen. They're
yeah.
beautiful, you know? So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And on the trip going west, I'm going to go collect those archives so that I can get them word processed and put them in your hands. get all the stories just so you have them and can think about them, you know, and you know, work on
Like,
that. Yeah. So, what's your projection at this point? Do you have kind of any kind of calculation with the grand opening that you're thinking that you're targeting towards, or?
I always told my son it's going to be May, so I'm going to say May. He thinks
Uh-huh.
it's going to be May, but I'm like, I believe it'll be sometime early May.
Yeah. Well, maybe our timing will be just about right for the grand opening.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what
Yeah.
it's about. Just try, just relax into it and don't get all like, enjoy
Yeah.
the nap.
We're
Mhm.
figuring probably about third, fourth, or something, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Somewhere in there is about when we'll probably take off on our journey, somewhere in the early part of May.
Nice, nice.
Because we want to get all that done and really take our time. You know, that's why we're going to head south first, so we can go to the beach, the high desert, you know, go see some lovely places and take the kids to the ocean and, you know, do some camping in the national forests and
Yeah.
do all that jazz, you know. We're excited about that.
That's my dream destination one day. I will be living by the ocean. I will buy some property and that's going to be my life. So I can get the sun all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I know we're all alike that way. Lisa's the same way you are, I am. I know my, you know, sunshine. I mean, this is what we're living for. Get some sunshine. I know you love to wear your sundresses, you know.
That, like, it is really cold outside, but look, I have to wear my dresses. It's like I will put on layers and put some leggings on, but oh yeah, oh
Yeah. No, and you wear it well. You do. You know, so lovely.
yeah.
So, tell me about how many people that you have influenced into urine therapy. Do you know that people have kind of heard your message and, you know, start following what you're doing?
There have been, especially since I posted my video and then you reposted, I have made a few connections and a couple of beautiful people have reached out to me. And I spoke to this amazing lady named Elizabeth yesterday. And oh my gosh, she just is so on fire about this whole process and just a lovely being. But I share it all the time. I'm always telling my children about it. I tell my mom. My mom is kind of on the fence with it. Um, I have friends who ask from time to time who are not quite ready. I think they just ask out of curiosity. But I just tell them, one day maybe you'll put it on your face and just start to see the results, and then maybe one day you'll get brave enough to sip it
Yeah.
and see how slowly healing it is and restorative. And like my first sip, it was like I felt like a little kid. I started laughing. It was just like the most beautiful, enlightening thing that I could have ever done. At midnight, I am drinking my piss, just laughing and just so like, really? This is,
Yeah.
and body was like, finally, you did it. We've been waiting forever. Oh,
I
it was
know. It's and I have a feeling that the Elizabeth you're referring to is she's up in like Michigan or somewhere up in there, eh? Roebuck.
I'm thinking, where did she say? Okay, I'm gonna get it. I think it's the I State, Iowa. I
Yeah,
think she might.
I think we're talking about the same one. She's awesome. She's really delightful, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she'll be at the symposium.
Oh, oh, I cannot wait.
If we're talking about the same one, and I saw her name come up on somebody watching early on, so you know she might be in the broadcast you're watching. I don't know, you know. And there's some great visitors, you know. And yeah, Andrew is noting the beach was nice because he went on spring break. He was down in he went down to the beach recently, enjoying that, you know. So
So,
so
so
nice.
bring the
Yeah.
sun and the sun and some heat. Oh, I'm so tired of this winter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had snow again yesterday. I think it was yesterday or day before. I mean, it dropped 3 inches, and then it just and it heated up yesterday. It just vanished. We're supposed to be at 70 tomorrow.
Yay!
Yeah,
But
yay. Yeah. It's time. It's been a long winter. It has. I mean, and it's we've had teasers along the way, 60 and 65, just in brief, just enough to wet your whistle and then okay, we're going to be 20 degrees overnight, so hang on to your seats, folks.
hmm
So, yeah, it's been kind of like that, but it's coming around.
yeah.
The weeks are getting shorter as far as the extremes. I think we're getting pretty close to the springtime. I just sense it's going to happen.
Now I'll be out
Yeah,
there in the sun. I promise you, I am like a lizard. I lay
yeah.
out like yes.
So, do you have a tar beach? Can you go up to your roof and hang up there?
Let me tell you, I do have one. I think I'm gonna sneak out there. I have to ask the landlady if it's like sturdy enough where I won't fall through. But yeah, it's. I would have to go through my window though, but I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in New York City, I mean, that was a term we called it Tar Beach, and we'd throw parties up there. We'd drop extension cords, down to our windows. We'd have stereos, set up bars, cater events, have Christmas lights, I mean, it was crazy fun, you know. It was way fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, Anthony. We got we got some wonderful people that are dropping in with us today. And so yeah, and you already told me you and a friend are going to be at the symposium,
And my daughter.
and your daughter. Oh, that's so awesome. And yeah, that's going to be awesome. Anybody who hasn't understood yet that the Water Life Symposium's in September in Las Vegas at the Westgate Resort, 21st, 2nd, and 3rd. Registration's $35, which is nothing. And it's all about really hooking up with some amazing people. It's all about the group hug, big hugs. Some of the most amazing family and friends that I have ever had the privilege of knowing. I met at last year's symposium, and we're going to have a reunion this year, and it's just going to be awesome. All these new people that are going to be joining in and being a part of it, and it's going to just be off the hook. It's going to be so cool. So I know a lot of people are planning on showing up early and staying late, because the event goes basically Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday morning. The major events on the Saturday. It's all about the communion. It's all about the people. That's what's really remarkable about it. We had an after party that just, I mean, for some people, the after party went on for days. It was awesome. They hit the road. That once they left the hotel, let's keep partying, man. We got a van. Let's go somewhere. And they did. I mean, it was just awesome. So, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, Thomas, is she going to talk about her experience with UT? Yes, she has. I mean, from the top of the broadcast, we kind of started with the UT conversation, so we don't want to be redundant or repetitive. We're covering a lot of ground, just so you know. So if you come in late on the broadcast, my recommendation is I repost it. I do the whole thing so that people that weren't available to watch this live can watch the whole broadcast. I do that every time, as well as create MP3 files. So we're covering a lot of territory here. And her UT experience is off the hook, bro.
Oh,
Transformational.
there is something I did not mention
Good.
when we were talking about hair and me being a hairstylist for a while. So when I first started drinking urine before I was doing urine fast, I was getting these boils that would pop up on my scalp, like almost everywhere, and they would ooze. So what that led me to really realize was the chemicals that I had not only used on others, but used on myself was making its way out. So it was very amazing to me, just that releasing of toxins that the urine did even without me fasting. That was just me just pretty much looping it almost all day, but still eating. But it was just amazing. And parasites. I released so many parasites just by drinking urine. They do
Right.
not survive that environment.
And have you also introduced enema into your protocols?
Oh, I have. Yes, yes. It is everything. Had one this morning.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're
And I love
remarkable.
like the urine rubs. I haven't gotten as long as Monica, like a whole hour. I mean, I'm trying to work up to that. I'm just like, oh, it's so nice. And especially at night, just rubbing it on my face, and you wake up in the morning and it's just like facelift. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know it's pretty remarkable. It really is, you know.
And I bathe in.
Amazing.
Oh, I wanted to show you this. Like I bathe in it like every day, and I don't use water because I just this this water here. I don't even know why it comes out the pipes. It's just ugh. It's scary, and I put that on my body. But it amazes me every day, like the amount of debris and just crap that can come off your skin. But I saved a little bit of water for a little demo. This is what came off of me. It comes off of me every day. This will come even out of my face. It's just like our urine is everything. Everything that we need is right there. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And oh, okay. So this is another thing I've noticed. So as you know, I am divorcing my husband. I shared that with you. And when I lived in his home, my urine, when I would save it, would have a certain smell. It was more pungent and more strong. And when I'm here in my own place. It is peaceful, and my urine doesn't have an odor anymore. And I just wonder, like as we can have chaos energy around us that can affect how everything looks and feels and smells to us. But my urine is like even more beautiful here in my place of peace. So I don't know if experienced that or anybody if they have, but I found that to be really amazing. Even my aged urine doesn't have that really strong pungent smell anymore.
Yeah, and Andrew points out, and it is true, stress, and under duress, and it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you, and this has so much to do with what is coming through us, what we're actually detoxing has so much to do with all of this. And when you talk about the parasites, there's many ways and means to address these, and so much of it is also it's physical, but it's also emotional and it's also mental. And then what we think about, we bring about. So if we have too strong of an obsession, we're going to just keep manifesting what we think about the most. What we talk about in our want, and what we don't want, there's a double entendre negative, that just reinforces what you're going to get, which is what you exactly don't want. So poor choice of languaging. The subconscious doesn't take a joke, it takes it serious. So using those two words in choice, don't want, all you're doing is reinforcing exactly what you're wanting to get away from. It just works like that. And hey, Carol, welcome. So yeah, it is. It's a lot of programming, and there's simplicity in the process, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, a lot of regiment, a discipline to elevate ourselves beyond our limitations into our greatest and highest good and our best potential. That takes a lot of focus, and a lot of people, let's face it, I mean, it's already proven that the average person, um, goldfish have a longer attention span than the average person. Now that's kind of a scary stat, but it's an honest one. It's true. So you look at why people are so fucked up about so many things, and it's like focus, you know, pay attention.
What I have learned regard as far as me having focus in my life was learning to release the things that didn't benefit me anymore. And where it was people or how I viewed myself or my life, once I realized that I could let that go, then my life became more balanced and more beautiful and more peaceful and more equanimous with everything around me. So it is just this beautiful journey that we are on. I was looking at this movie yesterday that Liz recommended, and it was You Are, how does it go? The journey brings us to our greatest happiness. It's not about the destination, but it is about the journey. So, regardless of how horrific things may be, if we stay in the now and look at the beauty and the growth and the process of it all, that destination that we are trying to get to becomes even more magical because we finally get to enjoy the journey. Because you never lose hope or sight of what you are or what you will become, but it's just enjoying the process of getting there. I
Yeah.
couldn't say that in 2004. I was sick and crazy as hell and losing my mind and my hair and everything. And I can say that now. I can say that I truly appreciate every moment. I appreciate my now. And it is just magical. And even the things that I went through with my husband, I still have a divine love for him. And I look at what I experienced there as a lesson for me to grow. It was an environment for me to learn how to, as our company says, take a stand for what is important to me and what makes me who I am. And I am forever grateful for all of it. Was it pleasant? No. But oh my gosh, I'm so much better on the other side for it. And
Well, I always draw reference to our life in process, and it is about our experience. It's all about the journey. There is no destination. It's be here now, live in the now. This is where the awareness arrives. It has nothing to do with, like one of my favorite little memes is from the Big Lebowski. It's, Jeff Bridges sitting at the bar in the bowling alley with a white Russian in front of him, and it says, your past is calling. Let it go to voicemail. It's got nothing new to report. Just leave it alone. Let it go. And it's so true, that whatever was. It makes no difference. And whatever will be, nobody has a clue. And if you can't be present and accountable, you know, you're going to miss
yeah,
the show.
you
And
are.
the thing is that, a good story comes from a deep well of experience. There is this isn't, the Pillsbury Doughboy marshmallow coffee or cocoa thing. Life is real. And the more real you are about your life and take on the temperament and the understanding of the process of life itself, hey, it might be a real high price story, but what's the price of a good story? Some of them are really high. But if you live to tell and get to the other side, then hey, there it is, you know, authenticity in action. You get to show up and live large, you know, and you're a
Yeah.
perfect testament. I mean, you are your testimony, your transformation. From where you were to where you are. I mean, good Lord, girl. You're stellar. You're a shining star. You're so youthful, so energetic. And have so much ambition. You're creative as the all get out. I mean, I fell in love with you in the first 2 seconds of our first conversation. I knew it. I was just like, wow, who's this girl? Got to know this girl. So I'm forever grateful for our friendship. I know we're friends for life. We're in. We're in.
If it's a long time ago, I always look at it like I don't think life is a coincidence. I think everything is ordered, and we just have to remember all of this magic. Like before we came, I'm sure you said, you know what? One day I'm gonna connect with you again, and this is how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be with this P thing. But oh my gosh, life is just go rain, it's
Well, yeah,
More
and here was the synchronicity that I loved about our encounter, how we hooked up, is that it was Monica Shute that she was sending me a PM, right? She's sending me this personal message telling me, oh my God, this woman sent me this response to, this I answered a question, and oh God, and she just wanted to share with me how amazing and all this stuff, right? And so I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't even make the connection. So after our PM, I'm going on Facebook, and all of a sudden I see this little clip of your video that you were talking about your softness of hair, and the clip came and went in a blink of an eye, and then all of a sudden I made the connection. I said, "Oh my God, this is the same person," and I immediately, you remember, I did a shout out to you and said, "Hey, can we like hook up and talk?" And you said, "Absolutely." And it's been like flawless and free flowing ever since, right?
yes.
Yes. And I just adore you, and just look so forward to having a hug from you, my friend, big time.
For you and Lisa. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And Lisa does adore you. She appreciates all your shout outs all the time. She just appreciates it. Yeah. And so, everybody's adapting. We're in day 5. I mean, it's been amazing how much ground we've covered in a short amount of time, and we're getting ready. It's in a week. We're going on our first road trip, and, we're heading to Virginia for a 7 to 10 day journey. So we're just getting in ducks in a row. Got new tires put on one of the vans today, and step by step. Got a library card. We're going back to the library today. Little Ziva's so excited. We got a date at the library this afternoon. They're going to do a puppet show. They're going to do all this cool stuff. So, it's all about family, man. That's it. I mean, I signed up for this, and I'm so jazzed. I'm so excited that I get to have this opportunity. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful
yes.
family. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, life's good. I look forward to meeting your kids and your grandkids. It's going to
Right.
be remarkable. Yeah, we're all excited about that. Yeah.
Yes, you all the time, and they were so excited and pumped about this interview that we're doing together today, too. So I don't know if they're able to now how their little day is going, but I know I'll say, y'all better look at it sometime today. So, yes, they are so supportive, Kate. Oh, my goodness.
Well, and it's unique and special when somebody can come in and watch the whole live broadcast. It's not always, people come and go into the broadcast because they only have a few minutes and they're moving through, but that's why I do what I do and set it all up and download it and spread it around, make a YouTube of it and an MP3 so people can enjoy it at their leisure, you know, when they want to. Yeah.
Oh, I was
So,
just, oh, this is funny. When I first started doing my pee, we went to visit my dad. So my kids called themselves telling on me. They were like, "Do you know your daughter is over there drinking her pee?" And my dad didn't think much of it. He was like, "That's your mama. That's your mama." But it's just, little things that just keep the fun in life, make you
yeah.
laugh and stuff.
And I've had a recent breakthrough. I've mentioned it in prior videos that, I had a little bit of a separation going on with my youngest son. But his wife, she's just beautiful, Brazilian. My grandson is, dual citizen and bilingual. He speaks English and Portuguese, and he's only 2.5. And they've been doing a lot of art, and she does a lot of Instagram. They're not really on Facebook, so they appear on Instagram, and then she shows all these little clips of what's happening with them and the artwork they're doing, and both her and Ben are doing all this painting, and it's just remarkable. So I just commented and said, "Wow, your artwork is outstanding, really cool, good job." And I mentioned that I got a new family. I'm heading out that way. I'm going to be in the area and love to see you and hook up. And she was like, "Oh my God, yes, please call us." So the bridge is being narrowed. It's happening. So I have a feeling we're going to have a family reunion when I go out there in Washington. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen my son I haven't talked to him for a while, so it'd be awesome. Yeah. But I had a feeling that was going to happen, that that Lisa and and this is something, I'm going to tell you something that's really remarkable. We realized it, I think, yesterday or the night before we were talking. And it's like our body sculpture, our hands, our thumbs, our arms are like identical. She's like a mini me. I mean, the structure of our limbs and stuff are just, it's remarkable. We're both sitting there looking at it going, wow, this is really trippy. you know? We both had Italian moms, and both like English Welsh fathers. I mean, it's really kind of unique. We were destined to be with each other. I mean, we're finding out, we're learning this every day, how much the divinity brought us together in a really profound and awakened way. There was no accident about any of this. It all happened in beautiful poetic timing. Yeah,
I
it's
was going
awesome.
to say, it ever is an accident. Everything in life is just so beautifully orchestrated for us.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I am just so happy for you and Lisa. Y'all are just amazing together. And just to hear how you say the connections and the resemblances that you guys have, that's like, what?
Yeah, we're so happy, and our conversations are just seamless, effortless, flawless. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's wow. I mean, it is. It's just beyond everything I've ever experienced, but it wasn't beyond my imagination. This is what I imagined. This is what I had planned on, and
Yeah.
here it is. This is it, and I
Isn't that,
recognize.
I get so
Yeah,
excited. Oh, I think that is just beautiful because, like, my mom always taught me, like, baby. She always goes, baby, baby, baby. She goes, thoughts are things. And it's so beautiful because you can create and manifest your reality exactly the way that you want it.
yeah.
And the people that are in it.
Yeah, well, it's don't stay where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated. Always imagine yourself in your greatest, highest potentiality. Never think anything less than that. Don't forget any of the details. Keep conscious of it and be patient about it. That's where most people goon themselves. They lose patience and then they sabotage whatever it is they're imagining. They just do. And then it cancels the order. And then they wonder why it didn't work, why it wasn't happening, the way they wanted. And well, quit gunning yourself and try it a different way. And all lessons are repeated until learned on Schoolhouse Earth, and people just will repeat them over and over and over sometimes to like, do you get what you're doing? And I did the same thing, so I know this one too well. I mean, I had to press repeat so many times, you know, and it's time to erase those tapes, just like record some new tape, just get rid of those. And it's the way it works. It really does. It does work like this. I'm not, I am special and unique. I acknowledge myself and recognize I am special and unique, but so are you. Everybody is. They just have to honor it, respect it, and own it, accept it.
Yes, it's your greatness.
Yeah.
Yes. Speak affirmations over your life.
Yes. Well, like you were saying earlier, looking in the mirror, there's your perfect example of that equation. It works like that. Picture your greatness, not your
Yeah.
shortcomings, not your faults.
You're
All
so
that stuff's it's all
important.
correctable. Yeah, all of that shit's correctable. It doesn't have to be. We aren't who we were.
Yeah.
That's just somebody I used to know, really.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I really like who I am. I do. I have more empathy and more compassion, and I'm way in touch with my emotions, my female side. My creative mind is really expanded. My physical body is really coming around in ways that I hadn't ever experienced in my entire adult life. So I'm watching it all in a transformational experience that's beyond my, well, and actually it's not. It's right in alignment with my imagination. It really truly is. This is what I imagined. I'm experienced exactly what I imagined. And it's happening. It's awesome. I love this part. It's a beautiful thing. It is. We're all graced. And we are the I am that I am, you know?
Right. I am. Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
And no sense getting convoluted or confused about the power that lives within us, you know, even though somebody else has told us in some derogatory directive that you can't do that. You know, basically I say, really? Fuck off, fuck you. You ever listen to peacocks? I ran a peacock ranch for 3 years, and when they're in their molting stage, they talk to each other. This is what they say. Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck you!
You
That's
are
what they do.
funny.
It's crazy. That stuff always cracked me up. Peacocks. They're so big, they're so beautiful, they're just so glorious. And they have a brain about that big. You can
Mhm.
barely get your finger through enough. I mean, they are real pea brains. You know, they don't have a whole lot of thought going on, but they are beautiful. And they're very tribal. Peacocks are an amazing tribal unit. They're fascinating to watch. Really fascinating to watch their hierarchy, how they coordinate, how they do their dance among the peacocks and the hens. You know, the whole thing is really pretty amazing. And I was just showing these pictures. I've been a photographer and a builder and done all this shit forever. I have thousands of photographs, literally thousands of photographs and files that I've taken and cataloged my life experience with. And I mean, nobody ever sees them. Nobody ever really gives a shit much. You know, I mean, it's really kind of interesting how that works. But, you know, Lisa was really interested. And so it was kind of a gift to share a couple of chapters in my life with her. I kind of made a slideshow out of them, just kind of let them run, tell some stories. She was digging it. You know, it was cool. She wants to know. You know, she does. We want to know about each other, you know, and we're moving forward. Again, you know, we're partners, just like you and I, we're partners. We have an agreement that's understood and it's effortless. It's not complicated, you know, it's all heart. We know it's so. Won't be any complication or convolution. It'll happen. It's creative. That's the beauty of it. We're in this, you know, embryonic, symbiotic journey of loveliness in life, you know, and I love that part. Every time I talk to you, and you and Lisa and Monica Shoot all share this in common, you just have the most adorable giggle and laugh. And it always, my heart just gets warm every time I hear you guys giggle. I mean, I just love it. Feels good, you know, feels real good. So, hey, Glenn. So, you know, I thank you for that. I love your presence. I really do. It's such a gift. And I
Likewise.
really like that little production you made. That was really well done. You know, that you posted, and I reposted it the other day. I mean, that was really a very short and to the point, but really well produced.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And and as painful as it was to take some of those pictures, I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah.
So that's a memory of where I've come from. It was just the journey is it was something, and it's really nice because I had a lot of people who responded and they said that they were grateful that I shared that because it inspired them. So it goes again when you just live your truth fearlessly and boldly and you're not afraid of what anyone will think about it, then that's when lives change. That's the light that we are. The light is fearless. It just goes in and gets stuff done and it doesn't care what anyone thinks. So
I had a comment from a new, fairly new subscriber the other day on my YouTube, and I mean, there's, you know, I give away comments and compliments and praise and love all day, every day. It's just something I naturally love to do and acknowledge people. And, you know, it makes me feel good if somebody else feels good. So I do this innately, but, you know, and I get a lot back. I mean, I can't give away love fast enough because so much love pours in. Yeah, but this guy, he said that he went, you know, Casey, there's not a disingenuous bone in your body. bro. I mean, you rule. And I was like, wow, that's quite a statement. And that it just moves me that people view me that way. I mean, it's like, wow, it's really humbling. It really is to me. I'm just like, wow, blown away. How people view things. And I'm just being myself. I shit in an outhouse, live in a trailer. I'm off the grid. I mean, it's like I don't have any pretenses about anything. I just deal with life one moment at a time in its real form. But I live a beautiful life. I mean, really a beautiful life. And now having Lisa as a part of it, and Ziva and Jaden is just it's so rich. It's so rewarding. It's so awesome. It's just a gift. I am grateful. We can. I've been riding solo for so long, a real long time. So it's nice to have an equal, co-pilot. Yeah, we're in this together equally, 100%. There is no separation. It's totally equal. I love that part. Just like you and I. That's our conversation. Complete equals. I love that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really rich. So, anybody out there in FB land have any questions for me or Teresa? If you do, go ahead and post them. I'll try to see what they are, and we'll see if we can do any Q&A for you here while we're in the process. We have covered a lot of ground in short order, and that's really awesome. What else you got? Anything else that's on the tip of your thoughts that you want to bring into the light?
Hmm. You know, if I were to bring anything into the light, is to just love yourself completely and live in your divine truth, and that will make more room for you than you could ever imagine. And as my mom says, baby, when you let stuff go, then you'll realize how much more you have to receive. She said it will be so much that you cannot even contain it. So that is what I would love to share and give to others. That is what I have learned on this urine therapy. That is what I have received as a reflection of who I am, emitting myself to the whole universe. I'm getting that back through this amazing group and the people that I have met. It has been fast and just beautiful. And I am so grateful and so amazed. I'm just like in awe. Like my mom said, it'll be more than you can ever contain. So, yes,
Now,
I love.
Andrews posed a question. He says, when you were talking about salt, what type were you eating that caused you the pain?
Oh, I was doing the Himalayan pink salt. Um, And what I had noticed after my fast, because I fast a lot, I would always wonder why I would get inflammation. And even eating a very clean vegan diet and even going into raw. Um, and it just puzzled me for a while. My little toes were like little sausages and my face would look like a little pie face. And every fast I would do, I would feel the most radiant and beautiful. But once I started eating my basic diet again, the inflammation would occur. So I did the little test after my last fast, and I did not have the rock salt, but I had a lot of sodium-rich vegetables, and I was still having inflammation. But I've learned about myself, my journey, no one else's, but if it is informative to you, I hope it is helpful. That when I listen to myself and listen to my body, and especially with things of inflammation, and when I understood how inorganic rock salts were not really good for human consumption, they are for plants to utilize and to bring that type of life force to us, it just resonated with me. And
Hmm.
when I eliminated that, and I am like on this fruitarian path, oh, let me tell you, all the inflammation went away. I began to glow like I did after I finished my fast. And I knew within myself that this was the path that I will follow forever because
Yeah.
it resonated.
So,
That.
Carol Ann's asking about your healings, which we did cover quite a bit, but for latecomers, maybe you can just take a moment to make a quick summary since it's all inclusive in this entire video, all your healings.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me tell you. Okay. First of all, I'm not crazy. You know, that mentally, that capacity, I feel so much more balanced within myself. My hair grew back. I began to reverse in age. My skin began to glow. My stretch marks are going away. It is
I saw
very,
that in that video. That was pretty dramatic. That was real graphic.
and it
Amazing.
was, oh, let me tell you, it was worse than that. It was like a little wrinkly crumb cake. It was just really, really bad. And now, like even my daughter, she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Girl, you know what it is? The pee and fasting and just knowing that your body, when you are letting it do what it is supposed to do, it will restore itself. We have to trust who we are, have our power, and we have to move in it and screw everything else that we have been taught. Let all of those things go that have hindered you from progressing, that allow you to be combative with others, because it really doesn't matter. What matters is about you building yourself up and you coming here to be the greatest thing that you are supposed to be. I am not here to change the world. I'm here to change myself. And when I master and I believe who I am because I trust me, then you can be a reflection for others to grow. It is each one of we all have our journey, but we are all these beautiful divine lights that have a divine power to change anything. But you have to put yourself first. That
Yeah,
is you.
Lisa and I were having this very discussion, and it's about you, you can't change the world. You can change your world. And when you change your world, by definition, the world changes. And
Yeah.
you bring a greater presence, a greater value. And it just, if your life sucks, take a look at why. It's not anything anybody else is doing. It's what we're doing to ourselves always. That's it. We create. We are responsible. And as soon as we accept the responsibility, quit trying to point fingers, blame others for our miserable experience and our miserable lives, it'll change. It
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
Look in the never look at
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I so adore you. You're so charming and you're so smart. You come with such great experiential wisdom and it shows. You were willing to walk that path, no matter how bumpy it was. No matter how many, detours, bridge out, crash and burn in the ditch for a minute. You just kept on going. It's awesome. Really
It's
awesome.
right. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yes. I have even been in my car yelling to the top of my lungs, like, oh yeah, so many moments. But it brings you to who we are. I mean, it's perfect. The journey is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a great song, it's like an 80s by a group called Four Non Blondes. And the song is called What's Going On. And it's really a testament to that, just like how goofy it all is out there and, trying to make sense of anything. And it really is about, I am what I am. It really boils down to that always. It just doesn't get any simpler, really. It's not complicated. We
It really,
complicate it, but it's not complicated.
just like drinking our tea. It's
Yeah,
really serious. It's
yeah.
really, and it's really powerful. And it's really all you need. It's just,
Did
we're
did you ever did you ever see the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? This was an
um,
amazing film, and it focused around quantum mechanics as a premise and knowledge of the film. To put it in layman terms, it made it, more user friendly to kind of comprehend the possibility through quantum physics of what's so. And when you recognize these things, it's like you see that we live in a matrix, that anything that ever was, anything that'll ever be already is, and it's all a selection of our mindset and choice of how we, you know, adapt what we're choosing. The movie The Matrix was very powerful in that awakening, that it's all in what we program. It's always in what we program. Nothing more, nothing less. And it really is simple. This stuff to me is simple. It's just not easy. Most people just don't want to put their beer and pizza down and, walk away from the remote control, or the gaming or whatever they're doing, not to be completely derogatory, but I'm intending to be completely derogatory. Because it's just it really is it's a red flag. We live in a very zombie-onic society. We do, but the more and more people are awakening. They're seeking, they're asking, they're hoping. They're opening their hearts and their minds and their eyes, and their possibilities are shifting. You see it in the groups. You see it. I see it. People just keep appearing. New people just keep coming in. New friends are requesting. New subscribers are coming in. More and more people are joining the group. So there is a movement. It is happening. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it is. It's happening. And this is the tribe I want to hang around. Now, I don't give a shit what the rest of the world is doing, being, thinking, saying, having. I don't give a shit. I really don't. But I'm going to find my tribe. I keep my eyes open for my tribe, and I welcome everybody. There's nobody that I exclude unless they exclude themselves from poor behavior and, being ugly, man. If you can't respect others, it's obvious you can't respect yourself. So go learn a lesson about self-love and self-respect and come back when you got that shit figured out. Then you got something to offer. These are those times. There's no more mamsy-pamsy. This is the new frontier. There is a major shift. 2018 is powerful. What's going on? I mean, I look back just a year ago, where I was at a year ago, and it seems like 20 years ago now. I mean, it just seems so distant and remote how much has gone on in a year, and where it is now. It's just like, wow, it's way zoom, big time. So much growth. It's exciting. Yeah, exciting times. It's just exciting times. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. It is
Yeah,
exciting
yeah.
time.
Ari, 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 Ari. There's some island talk. Oh, did you say I agree or were you saying Ari? Ari, man. I did Ari. It's all the same. Rasta vibes, the high vibes. Yeah, it all is in the same relativity. It's a really beautiful thing. So, yeah, unless you got anything else, I think we've covered an awful lot of territory in a really remarkable time frame. And I mean, I'll hang around as long as you want to hang around. You got more you want to say? Anybody else have any questions? It's all good. But otherwise, we'll just wrap it up and move on. We got sunshine. We got sunshine, which was a cloudy day. Hey, hey.
Outside.
Yeah, and I'd like to go out and get some sunshine myself.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
so are you good? I'm good. We good?
I am great. Yes,
Way
this has
good.
been an amazing experience, and I'm honored to be on your show. And you are just amazing, 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 and I love you so very much. And Lisa, and the
Say
kiddos.
hi. Yeah.
Hey, Teresa.
Go ahead.
Hey. Hi. Hey, beautiful.
Isn't this lovely? Yeah, I bet you Ziva wants to say hi
Say
too.
hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Well, come on, you can get in the picture if you want. Get up there.
Hi.
There she is. So, yeah, it's all love here. It's all love.
Are you blushing a little bit, Casey, huh?
Oh yeah, always. I'm very humbled by all this. I really am. This is it's such a beautiful state of being.
Hey, Teresa, I
Yes,
can't
yes.
wait to see you.
Oh, I
I
know.
I
I
am
can't
looking
wait.
forward to it.
I'm gonna be the first one, y'all. Don't be jealous. I'm gonna be one of their first stops, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, you are the first stop. Absolutely. You're stop number one. And actually, just so you know, everybody, Carol Ann, it's Z, like Ziva, Ziva, not C, not S. Yeah, yeah. It's Ziva Rose, so that's how you spell it. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been delightful as always. I love you so dearly. And thank you so much for taking time with us. And yeah, we're going to be together soon enough. Way soon. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's all in alignment. We're coming around the bend. Our trips are lining up. We got a road trip coming up in like just about a week, and then we'll be back here for like about a week, and then we're on the road for another 4 or 5 weeks. So we got plans. It's going to be way cool. Yeah. So remember the symposium, everybody. That's always just something to keep in mind. It's really a rewarding experience, September 21st, 2nd, and 3rd in Las Vegas at the Westgate Resort. And you can go to waterlifesymposium.com, get all the information, registration, and all that. It's worth it. A lot of love in that room, big time. And next week, I've got Harry Matadine. He's from the UK, but he happens to be traveling in the United States right now, and so he's going to be coming to us live from Boston. And if you don't know Harry, hang on to your seats, man. You're going to strap on for Harry. Harry's a wild one, man. I love Harry. Harry's awesome. He's a pistol. And then my friend Danielle Audrey Graham, who's turned around, healed MS. Oh man, her story is just like crazy cool. She's amazing. And so yeah, we're keeping the high end guests. We just want to share, so much knowledge and love and communion. That's the whole point of all this. That's the whole purpose of the ORIN Oracles, is just to keep spreading that shit around. Hey, love, love, put that shit on everything, man. Spread that shit around everywhere. Love, 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 love. Ha ha. It's worth it. So, Teresa, big hugs and kisses to you, my dear friend. And yeah, much love. Keep your peace together. And boom, you just been loved. Ha ha. Bye bye now. Catch you on the fly. All right, baby. Bye bye
Bye
now.
bye.